Welcome to another episode of Three Cranky Jets Fans. I'm Joe Close-Morone, and here with me are Matt Callahan and Trisha Close-Morone. Today we are recapping Jets vs. Steelers, and we're going to talk about our outlooks, what our outlooks are on the rest of the year. Then we'll give a little news update on the AFC East, and finally we'll wrap it up with the Jets at Patriots round 2. Matt, Trisha, how are you both?
I'm operating under normal parameters.
Excellent.
Just want to
drive running smooth.
Matt had a big birthday this week. A shout out, happy birthday,
Congratulations.
Matt.
Thank you.
Another year older, or maybe 5 after that game. I don't know. Sprouted a couple grays myself. Yeah, I'm well. I'm fine.
All right. It's about as good as we all can be. Let's dive into this week's nightmare. Jets at the Steelers on Sunday Night Football with a final score of 37-15 Steelers. Our predictions, Matt, you got the winning team right. Predicted 10-17. I went opposite at 17-10 with the Jets. And Trisha had the Jets winning 10-7. We were all wrong. And, I mean, what went wrong in this one, guys? What do you think?
I think you should change your question.
What went right?
Yeah, what went right in this question? That's exactly where I'm at.
But then we wouldn't have enough. We'd have a 5-minute show.
Yeah. 30 seconds of content. All right. There was a pass. No.
I mean, going into late into the second quarter, it really looked like the Jets. They were in the lead, and it looked like they were going to run away with this thing. But Rodgers gets a second interception that was a deflection off of Garrett Wilson, and then after that, it was just wheels off the cart, and everything looked a mess. What do you guys think? Do you have anything that you would attribute that to?
I think they're a bad team.
I've got two guesses. I think maybe they saw that AI version of Trump in his Steelers uniform and just could not focus after that. That was something.
That was special.
That was special. Or perhaps maybe like someone spiked the Gatorade. Maybe there was a little bit of finagling. I mean, both of these are ridiculous theories. I really can't say what happened.
Yeah. Everybody, it looked like just everybody gave up. The Jets were still in the lead coming back from halftime, 15-14, and after that one interception, and it was just the ball bounced completely off of Garrett Wilson's chest. He just didn't put his hands out, and he acknowledged it after the game and was really hard on himself. The whole team just couldn't seem to come back mentally or emotionally. And I just found myself wondering, like, are these guys mentally or emotionally tough enough to deal with the frustration that's been this season and some of these mistakes throughout the games? And it seems like the resounding answer to that is no, they're not.
What do you think about that, Matt? I got to process it a minute.
I don't know. You're right. They just completely gave up on that game. Especially the defense. It's like they just had no idea what to do anymore. Completely gave up. None of them were into it. Like on the sidelines, they all looked completely out of it.
Right. Totally quiet. I mean, they did have a lot of injuries this game on defense. And, of course, the Steelers were able to pick on them a little bit. But still, it was just like complete silence and just no fire coming out of these guys. It felt like, and Rodgers said as much after the game, and it sounds like that's a point of emphasis in the locker room, that they're focusing on their energy throughout these games and trying to have a little bit more fun. He said he thought a lot of guys are so focused on not making mistakes that they can't bounce back after they do make a mistake.
I mean, that's the classic. Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's the classic. Like if I say to you both, all right, guys, don't think about the color red. Right? Like both you probably just saw The Color Red, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's this idea of, okay, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. And that changes the outcome drastically. It's all you can see and do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're able to make some of these, mental changes, because I think that really does attribute to a lot of the issues that they're dealing with, where it's striving for perfection, and they all know the stakes of this season. Where, now it's feeling like, what are they? Yeah, now it's feeling a little convoluted because we're so all in that what does next year look like if they don't make the playoffs, right? I think last year was meant to be like a gelling year for this group, but Aaron Rodgers, of course, went down in the first drive of the season, and we got robbed of that. So now year 2, we're expecting them all to be perfect together with the addition of more new guys, and the clock is just ticking. And Jets fans are very impatient, and of course Woody Johnson is impatient.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked at the resounding abandonment of the team and online posts and comments and threads. People were just like, I've been a Jets fan for 40 years and no more. Like, is it that Jets fans are genuinely checking out, or is it that just their way of complaining after a really bad game?
Matt, what do you think on that one?
I think that's reflecting on a bad game, but I also don't really see any reason to be optimistic about anything the way things have gone. Like, I don't see how they're going to turn this around. What else can they do? And everything you hear all season is, if they just add this or if they add that. It's like they have all the pieces they need, and they stink.
Can you imagine giving up your fan status, though? Like,
I don't really believe people when they say that.
They're just upset. They just say something.
Just because you have to be, you're just too online and have to be dramatic when you're online and something. Like, you can never say anything is okay or bad. You have to say it's the worst of all time or the best of all time, and neither is true.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I do feel for season ticket holders.
I saw the prices are going up again. 30%
6% this year,
6%.
supposedly. I saw one guy said that, and they just sent out the letters like this week telling people that they had to pay. And apparently over the past 4 years, they've gone up like 52%, something like that. And I'm just like, what on earth? How are people still doing this? And you see a lot of season ticket holders now saying, like, well, I'm not paying that. Sorry, no more.
Are the season ticket holders allowed to unionize, or just they just make the individual choice and say, nope, I'm not going to do it?
Yeah, I suppose they could like collaborate with one another, and I think they do to a degree on social media, but most
I'm going to name my price.
Yeah, really the only way to affect that is to not buy those tickets anymore and sell all the tickets that you do have to away teams, because that's not going to look good for ownership. But
I think it was a bad game. I don't know. I think it was a very bad game. I just remember thinking, oh gosh, how did it happen? Right? There was like that sensation of, how did this happen? But aren't we allowed to have a bad day?
Yeah, and the reality is that we've been in every single game up until this past week, and it was, all within 7 points. I think the total point differential for all those games was like 10 points combined for all those games before this past Sunday. This was just a total meltdown, and before now it was, like these minor mental lapses, but it just, everybody seemed to crumble after this week, and I think it's all kind of coming to a head. Hopefully leadership in the locker room and in coaching staff can fix some of that stuff and bring some of these guys back. The talent is there, like Matt said. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to win other than just pulling it together and getting on the same page with each other.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting with the introduction of Devante Adams to the team, how it felt like a little like a boost of energy and interest, and I thought, ooh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be something. And he had a catch or two. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how many he had, but Probably a handful,
A handful.
at least.
And then Rodgers did in that first half. He got the ball to other receivers, so that was something. Like I feel like we saw a little something new, but right where every week feels new right now with
Yeah.
Salah gone and I always want to say his name wrong. Jeff Ulbrich.
Ulbrich. Yep.
That's right. This is from somebody who reads text instead of listening to words out loud. Right? I should listen to more podcasts on the Jets, ironically. Anyway, I could just listen back to our old podcast on the Jets and get that pronunciation down. But Jeff Ulbrich, right? So we had like, okay, what's Jeff Ulbrich going to do? All right, what's it like without this? Like, what's it like in London? Like, I don't know. I feel like every week has been a very, like, they're at least keeping our interest. Looking towards next week, I know we haven't, we're not there yet, but I think we might just get a good old game. Like a game. Like a game of football.
A game of football.
I don't know.
I'm 100% certain we are going to get a game of football.
Bold prediction.
I mean, do you guys think
first, folks? No, I get what you mean. We're going to get maybe some competition.
We're going to get some competition. Hopefully nothing crazy. No, like, record-breaking penalties in the NFL or something. Like, maybe we'll just get a game.
Yeah, and that was an improvement, really, the penalties for the Jets in this. I mean, I know the overall product was, a shit show, but they didn't have, I think they had like 4 penalties. It wasn't and none of it was crazy. I don't know if they had any false starts, if I'm remembering right.
Well, there's the 12 seconds of what went well.
I think Brees Hall had a decent game, didn't he?
Who's that?
Brees Hall had a
yeah, the problem is
good game.
All of his production is in the passing game now, and I think I don't know if it was Joe Buck or Troy Aikman said it. Oh no, it wasn't either of them. It was Collinsworth. Said he's a receiver that plays in the backfield. The way he runs and catches the ball, like you can throw a go ball to him, a deep ball to him, and he'll catch it, and he's good at that. But he's like out of the backfield running through tackles. He's running directly into the defenders and into his offensive linemen. So he's not having like great success there, but in the passing game, he's wonderful. It's interesting to see. But he did have a good game overall. I think he had like almost 100 yards.
Wow.
Hopefully things keep opening up for him. Braylon Allen didn't really do anything. I think he only got like 2 carries, though, or something like that. Wasn't much.
One thing I saw in the post game that I thought was interesting was, I think it was Willie Collins saying that, like, when Salah was a head coach, he'd keep the defense in. He'd be the one on the sidelines keeping them into the game, and like when things were going wrong, he'd keep them motivated, and now he's not there, and they just look lost.
I mean, he was a motivator.
Yeah,
that was
that's
his
what he was
main
pointing
thing.
out. It's like they have no motivator now, and
it
showed.
Yeah, and Ulbrich may be a motivator as well. I don't know, but I think he's also probably overwhelmed by this big new job.
Yeah, I don't blame
and he's
Ulbrich
also
for any of
calling
this.
plays. Yeah, I get that there would be a drop off there. Yeah, it's tough. I wish that Woody would have just demanded that Salah demote what's his name, Nathaniel Hackett, rather than fire Salah first and then let all the other pieces drop. But we are where we are, and hopefully they can turn it around. I think it's going to have to be player led with the mental side of things turning around and getting the energy up, as we said. So
is that what Hassan Reddick is going to do now? Bring him to the table?
Oh yeah, I forgot he's coming back. He started practice today, I think, or something like that.
Oh, he's a little ray of sunshine. He's just going to really like boost everyone's morale.
I mean, if he's effective, he will.
No,
We'll see.
I'm sorry. Like all of the drama, all of the selfishness. I cannot possibly see this coming in and being a positive thing on the mental toughness and overall, motivation of the players. Can you?
Like I said, if he's in there and wrecking the game, and they start coming away with wins because of it, then that'll change things around. I don't think it's going to be a 1 week thing necessarily, but playing well and wins fix all things.
Or he's terrible and they all unite in their hatred of him, and that fires them up.
That unifies them.
Yeah, that could be a thing too.
Guys, will you tell me a little bit about Hassan Reddick? I really don't know what position he plays.
So he's technically an outside linebacker, but essentially what he is an edge rusher. So the defensive lineman, he lines up on the outside. I forget which side he plays on, but his main specialty is getting after the quarterback. But he's also got to play against the run too, and supposedly he's like okay at that. It's not his bread and butter, but that's what he does.
Tries to sack the quarterback. The Jets' bread and butter.
What's that?
Stopping the run doesn't seem to be any of the Jets' bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean they could take whatever help they can get, and really that's what we're hoping for, is that he'll at least provide some semblance of reliability against the run.
I didn't give him this type of strategic play in his return to the Jets, but perhaps he has waited till it looked really, really, really bad to step in just so he can say, like, the savior complex.
The savior.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I think he's going to be so sorely mistaken if that's his gambit.
I think I was hoping that after week 1 or 2 that the Jets would relent and say, okay, we really need your help. But the areas where they were weak were not necessarily his strong suits, being against the run. So, it's tricky. I don't know. It just didn't work out. Everybody was stubborn in this situation. I don't know who was advising him to do what he did, but it really didn't sound like a good business decision. And he kind of hurt it. He really did hurt his reputation.
Can I buy a Hassan Reddick jersey yet? Is that a thing?
It's probably for like $129 right now.
All right. All right.
It's no discount. You would think there would be one.
Yeah.
I think you could buy one like weeks ago.
Interesting. Okay. Fascinating. Yeah. So what's going on in the AFC? Right. Do we have any news that's happening?
The AFC East is a dumpster fire. But the Dolphins have Tua coming back. He's returned to practice, and he's probably going to play against Arizona. It's looking more and more like that. Is that going to propel them past the Jets, Steven?
I don't know. They looked like garbage before he went down. But that was, week 2?
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was against the Bills. That's all I know. But I don't think they looked good. I think they barely beat Jacksonville before that. And they were getting trampled by the Bills when he got injured. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Speaking of the Bills, they have a chokehold on the AFC East, cruising to another division title. They have a 3-game lead over both the Jets and the Dolphins. The Patriots still suck, which is less fun than it normally is. And will be even worse when they possibly beat the Jets this weekend.
They're not going to beat the Jets. Let's wait for a second on that. I am like, my hatred for the Bills is really growing. The Bills were always just like a nothing thought,
right?
For decades.
Yeah, I generally always hated all the AFC East team, except I never thought much about the Bills at all.
I'm officially sick of the Bills.
And talk about that a little bit. Like, why?
I'm just. You know what really pissed me off was when he came into MetLife Stadium this past game, and as he walked out onto the field for the first series, is just like pointing to his back with his thumb toward his name, just like, look at me, I'm an incredible human. I mean, yeah, you are, whatever.
This is what a good quarterback looks like.
Yeah, but get Get out of here with that. Seriously. I mean, come on, man. I don't like that stuff. It bothered me. And Deion Dawkins, the left tackle for the Bills, all he does is complain about how much the Jets talk, and the guy just runs his mouth 24/7. That's all he does. He got flagged for running his mouth during this game. He just talks. But the Jets talk too much. Get out of here. Shut your mouth. Go get another set of braces. That's offensive. I'm sorry. Sorry, all people.
Like, does he wear like? The show. He said he's sorry for people who wear braces.
So that makes you a bracist. As someone who had braces as a kid.
The show will be
32 or whatever he is.
The show will be like posting an official statement about our condolences and our regrets about making any racist comments during our podcast. Oh man! All right, so we hate the Bills.
I mean, generally, I hate all the teams in the AFC East.
Yeah, but the rivalry is never
more
been
and more.
a thing.
I'm including the Jets in that too.
Oh my gosh! I feel like they're at the top of the list most days.
I know. I really thought like the Dolphins Jets rivalry was going to heat up.
Oh, it has.
This season.
They both are trash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not
Who's the
what you
trashiest?
thought it was going to be, but they have heated up in being garbage. Well,
all right, what else we got?
Speaking of Robert Saleh, he's just taking a job with the Packers. He's going to be working with the offensive side of the ball exclusively as a consultant. He will be providing a defensive perspective to help them identify how teams will potentially game plan against them. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, take an extra paycheck while you're
earning double dipping
a few $1 million, right?
And he can still just keep all whatever green outfits he had.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
perfect. Probably
I'm sure he's really wanting to use all that green again. He's just like, I think all his green is just money signs. Money. I'm actually a little bit surprised that he wants. I mean, I guess he wants to be in football, so maybe this is why he wants to work right now. He realizes it's a good time to keep working.
Yeah, and I mean, Matt LaFleur is like his literal best friend in the whole world. Who's the head coach of the Packers? I think Matt LaFleur was his best man, or he was Matt LaFleur's best man. So I think he's just kind of going to hang out with his buddy more than anything.
Can't hurt, too.
Yeah, and get paid for it.
Yeah, you get paid for it. And I just look to make sure that you don't play the Packers this year, so that's good.
Yeah, I think the Packers have a decent defense too, right?
I think so.
So I don't know if he'll I don't think they'll be looking to change coordinators next year, but maybe they're just keeping him in the building in case.
Plus, it's always good to be seen, I guess, than not seen.
Yeah. I will say this, I cannot imagine how vindicated he feels getting fired from the Jets and then just watching them set themselves on fire. Mm-hmm. It wasn't me, that's, I can just hear him, or he's probably got this feeling of there you have it. That's what I was working with,
Yeah. Speaking of people who may feel vindicated, on social media, I've seen a lot of chatter about people who are comparing Aaron Rodgers to Zach Wilson and the records that they have. I'm curious to get your guys' take on this. Yes, the Jets have a worse record than they did with Zach Wilson, but do you really feel like neither of you have said anything to my knowledge in one way or the other, but do either of you feel like we would have been better off with Zach Wilson?
Oh, God, no.
No.
I did see, though, something online earlier this week about Aaron Rodgers losing to all the teams that Zach Wilson beat last year.
Yeah. I mean, it's out of control. I can't even believe I'm seeing that stuff. But my point was even though Rodgers can't move, Zach Wilson was garbage under pressure.
Yeah.
He his go-to move when under pressure was to run 30 yards the opposite direction and then fumble the ball out of bounds or something.
Fall down.
Right.
Throw it a pick.
This guy had zero awareness of what to do or where to go in any situation, and he could not see the field. We are better off with, frankly, me or Matt Callahan at quarterback.
Excuse me.
No,
Why
we're
not me?
Trisha Close-Morone. Sorry. No, none of that is true. We are better off with Aaron Rodgers for sure. I know he's not. He's been an average. He's been an average quarterback. I don't think he's been anything special, but
I don't think that this is an Aaron Rodgers problem. I think this is a team problem.
No, he's not helping. But would you say this was his worst game as a Jet?
Yes.
It's hard to tell. He was doing okay. He had that one bad pick. That was the first one, and then the second one, the ball literally hit Garrett Wilson's chest and bounced right off. And then after that, I mean, the whole team just melted down. So I don't know what you can say about Aaron Rodgers in this one. He's had 2 very mediocre games, I think, this year. And the rest
London versus the Vikings, fine. That was very mediocre, right?
I can't remember which ones.
Anyway, I don't think that this is an Aaron Rodgers thing, and I think that we would be way worse off with Zach Wilson. I think this is a team thing, right? This is our defense for the first few weeks and even last week are just like falling apart, and then you've got just the penalties that happened the week before. I don't know. I don't think that this is an Aaron Rodgers problem. So, no.
Yeah, no. I agree with that. I really think if I would blame anything on Aaron Rodgers, it's the potential that some of these, emotional failings or mental failings are on players saying, like, I don't want to get yelled at by Aaron Rodgers, right? That's really the only thing that I could maybe pin on him, and he's acknowledged that and is trying to make it a little bit less tense in that regard, it sounds like. So I don't know if he's able to help change things around, but I think everybody's just really feeling the tension of we have to win now, or I'm going to get traded or fired or whatever. And that's a tough situation to produce under, but that's the reality. These guys
are supposed to be the top in the whole country, right? Yeah. Or in the whole world at what they do. So that pressure is going to be present, and it's been present their whole lives, right? Whether it was they weren't going to make their little league playoffs, or they weren't going to make their they have had to deal with pressure and that type of thing their whole career. So this is not novel, This is the moment.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, we'll see how they respond. Did we start talking about Jets and Patriots? I don't even remember.
No, but I think it's time.
I think it's time.
So let's move on to Sunday against Jets and Patriots.
Yeah, the Jets at the Patriots. The Jets are 7-point favorites in this game. Okay, despite their awful circumstances, they are still a lot better than the Patriots, who are now 1-5 after getting smacked by the Jaguars in London last Sunday. What should we expect? What do we want? What do you guys think? Any big predictions for what's coming?
Matt, I'm curious to hear what you think.
I'm scared, but they should. I mean, their schedule has been terrible all year, but this is the first gift they've gotten all season is a 1 p.m. start against the Patriots. If there's any game that they should win easily, it should be this one.
Yeah.
And they can all feel good about themselves. This is the perfect timing. That's why, if I'm writing a Jets script, this is a game they're going to lose.
Yeah, if the Jets are going to make any noise or come back from this void, if they lose this game, it's just curtains on the season for sure. And I'm not a believer that they're going to come back and make the playoffs. In all honesty, I think they'll probably do just enough to make 9-8 or 8-9, something like that, to make it interesting.
Just enough to screw over any draft picks they'll have.
Yeah, exactly.
Not get anything from it. Anything.
And exactly. And miss the playoffs and going all that forward. Stuff. Yeah. I think they definitely should win this game. If they don't, it's a total wrap on the season.
what are you guys wanting to see out of this game?
Pretty much the last time they played, like, I'll take the same game that they had against the Patriots last time. That was the last good game I've seen them play. The only good game I've seen them play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'd like to see a little bit more of a statement, but
I'd love to see them crush them and, like, shut them out.
I want them to come out of this game winning handily and have fun doing so, but also not get, like, big heads about it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you really see that, but
That's a tall request, Joe.
there's some things that you, like, kind of, like, nuances maybe that you pick up on midweek on some of these interviews and things like that, and I don't know. I want to see them win handily and feel a sense of urgency and just fucking win the game. Yeah. Do it decisively.
I'd like to see a little cohesion. Can we, like, that's the word I'm going for this week, cohesion. I'd like to see that these guys have played together, that they've practiced together, that there is some sort of cohesion on the field.
Yeah. I'd like to see the offensive line pick things up this week. They did really well against the Patriots last time. There's no reason why they shouldn't this time. But they need to start getting better at moving people around. Tyron Smith, the left tackle, he's a Hall of Fame level left tackle, but he's been pretty bad for the Jets this season on a 1-year deal, and some of that might be making some business decisions as far as, because he gets paid for time played. If he misses games, he misses money. So he's trying to stay healthy and play all those games. And I'm not accusing him of anything, but there's incentive to maybe let some blocks or rushes go rather than, really put out your best effort.
Gross.
And,
that's terrible.
I don't know that he would do anything like that, but I mean, that's what his wallet is tied to. So it would make sense. I really want to see him pick up his production, maybe get Olu Fashanu in there if he's struggling, because it's been pretty bad to see a lot of the hits that Rodgers has been taking is due to Tyron Smith. And to go from the production that he's had for 10 years to what we're seeing now is pretty atrocious.
Well, that's the next week's situation, guys. Dare we, after our epic fail last week, talk about score predictions?
I mean, I did predict correct winning team. I'll say that.
Oh my gosh, you were just 27 points off, Matt. 27 points or something.
I thought they would be bad. I didn't realize. I forgot how bad it could be.
So bad.
So, I mean, you should feel good about your prediction of there will be a football game. Football will be played.
A game of football. I would like to watch a game of football. Okay, well, so Joe, what do you have prediction?
I think the Jets are going to win handily. I'm going to give them 28-13. Jets over Patriots.
Matt?
I'm going to say the Jets win 17-10.
Wow. Okay. I'm putting it in there.
I want to predict them losing, but I'm not going to. Or Joe will blame me again when it
Monster. Don't be a monster, Matt. Oh gosh. I'm gonna go we're gonna win, but it's not gonna be that close. I mean, not that far. I think it's gonna be like a 21-17 game. I think the Patriots are wanting to get out of this horrible situation they're in, and they're going to be in their own stadium with all their obnoxious fans doing their stuff. And I think they were embarrassed that they lost the way they lost last time, and they're going to try really hard.
Yeah, all the massholes are going to be in Gillette Stadium yelling "Yankees suck" as they get ready for the World Series.
Oh, man.
Well, all right, let's close this thing out. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Three Cranky Jets Fans. Thanks for listening, and please make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. And do not forget to follow us on social media at Three Cranky Jets Fans. Until next week, Jets fans, please find something that brings you joy in life. Because the Jets are not going to do it for you.
Yeah, add that in our comments. What finds you joy outside of the Jets? It's a dark world.
Yeah, leave a comment. What brings you joy besides the Jets?
When the Jets have gotten you down. Yeah, it's not them. That's the truth. All right. See you guys.
Later.
Go Jets.
J-E-T-S.
Go Yankees.